G'day and welcome to Evention. Today we're going to answer some of the many viewer questions that we receive on a daily basis. So let's get started. So our first question comes from Beth Massalia and Emma Stockram, who are our third place getters in the spoof episode contest. And they want to know, what qualities do we look for when we're looking for a new horse? Well guys, the very first and most important quality to us is temperament. They have to have a good personality and seem really trainable. Second is they've got to have good conformation and be nice and sound. Our sport demands a lot of the horses, so we've got to know they can hold up to all the strenuous exercise and training. And then last but not least is obviously talent. We want to see that they're a good mover, that they have a really good canter and show a nice form over a jump. If they tick all these boxes, then we're probably interested. Erin Noons asks, opinions on barefoot horses. Well, Erin, I absolutely love it if a horse is sound and happy without shoes on. However, when they're competing and doing a lot of jumping and training in the sand, a lot of times their feet don't hold up. And so sometimes it's in their best interest to put at least front shoes on. But if you can get away with it, then lucky for you. Christine Blomvik Ollerstetter asks, I'm sorry Christine, I know I probably just really butchered your name, my apologies. But you asked, what to do on a bucking horse? Well Christine, my top tips. First one, get your feet forward, feet on the dash. Second tip, head back, do not curl up in the fetal position. And make sure that if he gets his head right down between his knees, you've got to try and get his head up.
One other tip also is to give him a kick. He won't buck if he's running.
Victoria Tennis and 15,000 other people have asked how to teach flying lead changes. Here's the thing guys, we're eventers, we don't have to do a flying lead change until advanced or 3-star level. So we're not even going to start training that until they're at least upper level horses. Also, just in basic dressage, flying lead changes come a lot further down the line after a lot of other movements. So if you aren't performing those really well, you probably shouldn't even really be thinking about it. And you certainly probably aren't going to be learning about it on an online tutorial. Now for you hunter jumpers out there that desperately want a flying lead change, my only advice to you guys is go eventing. Sorry. Stephanie Ingram asks, best situations to use polos versus boots. Well Stephanie, we use polos on the flat for their dressage work, and we always put boots on whenever we're jumping them. With the jumping, their legs move a lot more and the polos have a lot more chance to slip. So that's why we would use the boots to offer more protection. Megan Austin asks, what's your favorite beer? Well, Megan, I don't like to discriminate, as long as it's cold. Except for Natty Light, that stuff's nasty. Emma Green asks, standing martingale versus running martingale. Emma, my personal opinion, standing martingale, don't use. Running martingale, when necessary.
Caitlin Murray asks, what are some tips to get your horse's socks very white? Caitlin, I use Ivory soap, and that's really all I use for socks, and it tends to cut down the grease and get anything out. You know, I've tried using the blue shampoo and stuff, and this stuff seems to work better, so give it a try.
Rachel Rogers Lalibert asks, what's your #1 tip for an aspiring professional? Well, Rachel, my #1 would have to be try and ride as many different horses as you possibly can. There is no substitute for experience. Chrissy Knoll asks, what is the best seat before a jump, a half seat or a deep seat? Chrissy, I think this one really depends on the horse. I'll give you an example. Jimmy and my upper level horses are both very different. Jimmy's is very sensitive and kind of quick, like a Maserati, and my guy's kind of big and has a really big, long, kind of strung out canter. I like to be a little bit more in the saddle before a fence. Jimmy likes to have a bit more of a light seat because her horse is a bit more sensitive in the back, but my guy needs a bit of help to stay together. So I really think it depends on the horse with that one. Ellery Jenner asks, how to get your horse more bold when jumping cross country? Ellery, I guess boldness is confidence, and confidence comes from good experiences. Good experiences comes from good, consistent training. So if you get out cross-country schooling, take your time and really just put those miles on. The more confident jumps that horse gets under his belt, the the more bold he's going to feel on the day out on course. Gillian Howland asks, what are qualifications needed to be a working student? Gillian, I think the best way to answer this question would be to talk about what Jimmy and I would look for in a working student and what's most important to us. And for us, the number one thing is a really good work ethic and a desire to learn. It's kind of a overworked, underpaid type position, but if they're doing it because they just want to get more experience and learn more about horses, then it doesn't seem so bad. The next thing is having really good communication skills. And last but not least is being able to present themselves in a good way for our clients and people that are coming in and out of the barn. So if you send an email to a rider wanting to be a working student with misspelled words in there, and you're probably not going to have much luck. So best of luck to you, Gillian. Caitlin Proctor asks, when is it necessary to start your horse on a joint supplement? Caitlin, the really good joint supplements are very expensive. So a lot of people are trying to sort of use them if it's necessary, if their vet says that it's necessary. But ideally, if you had money to burn, you could start them on them pretty early and use them as more of a preventative measure. But we would only use it if the horse is showing signs that he actually needs it and the vet thinks so too.
Kathy Menner asks, how often and how long should a horse work each week? And this is a really broad question, and it kind of depends on the horse and what's expected of them. But for example, if you're expecting your horse to go to a competition, I would ride the horse at least 5 days a week for at least 30 minutes a day.
All right, guys, thanks so much for all of your questions, and thanks for tuning in yet again. We hope to see you next week. See ya. Not cool. G'day, mates. This stir-fry dingo on a stick is bloody ripper. My cousin's Australian. She's also a dingo.
Paige, put your leg down. I didn't know you were flashing the camera.
Second one, head up and try not to get in front of the motion. And last but not least...
Oh, give him a kick. Can't balk if he's in the fetal position.
What is the matter with you?